Hello everyone! On behalf of Rainbow Loom, this is Angelyn, formerly known as Tutorials by A here on YouTube. Today I'm here to show you how to create this dotted line bracelet. A long time ago I made a tutorial on this bracelet on my own YouTube channel, and for that tutorial I made this as a growing bracelet, meaning that this could be made on a monster tail. However, today I'll be showing you how to make this on an entire Rainbow Loom, so we'll be making this across one loom. I had so much fun accessorizing these bracelets with Loomy Pals and Beadmoji. I'll show you how to apply the Beadmoji beads at the end of this video. To make this dotted line bracelet, you will need a C-clip to hold your bracelet together, a hook, a loom. This is the Rainbow Loom 2.0. You can also use the original Rainbow Loom, which looks like this, and some rubber bands. The rubber band counts that you'll need are 26 bands for the border, which is these colorful bands here, and these pink jelly bands on this bracelet. You'll need 24 bands for the dots here, which are the white bands here, and these rainbow bands on the bottom bracelet here. And if you'd like to accessorize your bracelet, you'll need some Loomy Pals or Beadmoji beads, which I'll show you how to add onto your bracelet at the end of this video. Before beginning, you want to make sure that your loom is oriented properly. So here's my loom, and at the bottom here I have an arrow pointing up with the number 1, and my pins are in a U-shape orientation. So now we can start placing our bands. The first bands we're going to place are the ones that are rainbow on this top bracelet and pink jelly on this bottom bracelet. They make up what are the lines of this bracelet. Today I'll be using white for this. We'll start by taking one rubber band, placing it on this bottom center pin and extending it up diagonally to the left. Next we'll take another rubber band, place it on this pin that we had just placed the end of this previous rubber band on, and extend this to the right diagonally. If you've ever made a single chain bracelet, this should look very familiar to you because we are doing the exact same steps as in a single chain. So I'm going to continue using one rubber band at a time, and I'm going to make my zigzag all the way up to the end of my loom. So with one last band that's the same color as all of these bands that we just placed, I'm going to place a cap band on this top left pin. There's two ways you can do this. The first way is to just take this band, place it on this very last pin that we have our rubber bands on, and you're going to wrap it around twice. So here's once, and then I'll twist it, and then wrap it around a second time. So we have doubled this band over onto this top left pin. The second way that you can do this is with this green plastic hook, and the end of this is actually a cap band applicator. So I'm going to use this rubber band, loop it onto this end of the hook once, and wrap it around a second time for this. Place this on the top pin here, and scoop this band down, like that. Next we'll be adding these dots onto our bracelet, which are the white rubber bands on this top bracelet and the rainbow ones on this bottom bracelet. For me, I'll be using these three colors today. So I'm going to start at the bottom of my loom. I'm going to skip this bottom pin here, the very bottom one, and we're going to start with this one here on the left. So taking my first color here, I'm going to wrap this band around this pin 3 times. You can turn your loom to make this a little bit easier. So here's once, twice, and 3 times, like that. With my next color, I'm going to go onto this next pin right here, and I'll wrap once, twist twice, twist, and 3 times. And again on this next pin right here, once, twist twice, twist 3 times around. So we're going to continue this on every pin all the way down to the end, excluding this pin at the very top that already has a cap band on it. So I've added all of my dots onto my loom, and here is what I have on my loom now. Your loom should look something like this. I've got a cap band on every pin. This one up here is wrapped twice around. It's the same color as my border, which is this white. Then I have all of my colorful dots that extend down here, and I do not have any cap bands on this bottom pin. So if your loom looks like this, then we're ready to start the hooking process. To do this, I'm going to rotate my loom 180 degrees, so that way I have the arrow down here that's pointing up and says the number 2, and my pins are oriented in an upside down U shape. Now taking my hook, I'm going to insert this into this bottom pin. This is where we'll start. I'm going to go inside the top 2 layers of rubber bands. Both of these make up the cap band that we applied, and then I'm going to grab this very bottom band. This is the band that we'll be grabbing. Make sure that you're not reaching out from here to grab this rubber band. You want to make sure you're going inside of the cap band here, using the back of my hook to push these out of the way, and then I'm grabbing the bottom band, hooking it, and placing it on this pin up here. We'll be hooking this bracelet like how we hook a single chain bracelet, so you're just going to ignore that these dots are here basically, and just go inside all of the layers here, grab the very bottom band, and hook it diagonally up to the right. You want to make sure you're going a little bit slow, since sometimes there might be a little bit of tension on your bands from these cap bands wrapped around. So just to make sure that nothing snaps, be gentle and take your time. So I'm reaching inside through all of these, using the back of my hook to push all of these layers of bands back, and then I'm grabbing the very bottom band and hooking that diagonal. Again, make sure you're not reaching from out here to grab this rubber band and hook it upwards. You should be going inside of this pin through all of these bands here and grab this bottom band and hook this upwards. So again, I'm reaching inside through all of these bands, using the back of my hook to push these layers out of the way and grabbing the very bottom layer and hooking this diagonally. Same thing here, reaching inside, grabbing the very bottom layer only and hooking this diagonally. Go inside here and then pull this bottom layer and stretch it over here. If your band ever gets caught like that, it's just because you have a lot of tension over here. So I'm going to scoot my hook around here so that way I can loosen this up, so that way this band goes into place. So I'm going to continue this process throughout the length of my loom until I reach the very end. And now I'm reaching the end, and I'm going to continue hooking as I have been. So here's my last band that I'll be hooking. I'm just going to insert my hook into here, grab this band, and hook diagonally like that. So now that I've finished the hooking process, this is what my entire loom looks like. And at this point, you want to grab your C-clip, and I'm going to attach this to the bands on this very top pin. So at this very top pin here, you can see I have 2 layers of bands, 1, 2, and these are the 2 that we want to catch in our C-clip. So I'm going to take my C-clip and grab these 2 bands that are right here. So once I've made sure that this C-clip is holding on to all of the bands that are on this very top pin, you can now remove your bracelet. And because there's a lot of pressure from these bands that are capped around here, I'm going to use my hook to remove this bracelet instead of pulling this off the loom. And this also helps to keep the bands in the correct order, though I'll show you how to correct some out of order bands later. Now we're reaching the end, and you can pull this completely off the loom. So you should have something that looks like this now, and I'm going to give this a little tug to straighten everything out. So if you removed your bracelet from the loom using your hook, you should have your bands mostly in order. If you happen to yank your bracelet off of the loom, you might have a lot of bands that are out of order that might look something like this green one I have here. This green one is on the outside where this white one should actually be on the outside. I'll take my hook into this link right here where the green one is supposed to be underneath. I'm going to kind of wiggle this white single chain to where it goes over the green one. So now the green one is tucked inside. You can also do this with your fingers. I have another one here. Just grab this white band and kind of pull it around to where it covers up whatever of the dot band is covering the white band. So then you should have something like this. So now to close this bracelet up, I'm going to take this end with the C-clip on it and attach it to the cap band that's on the opposite end of the bracelet. And there we go, here's the finished bracelet. I made this with the Rainbow Loom Bracelet Boutique Kit. This kit comes with both LumiPals and Beadmoji beads, a lot of which I've used already. I'm gonna grab 5 of these to add onto this bracelet. So I chose some Beadmoji beads and some spacers. You can remove the cap band end from this closure. And I'm gonna use this Beadmoji hook and attach it onto the cap band end of my bracelet. And now we can slide these on. Let's see what order I want to put these on in. I think I like this. So I'm going to take my first one, slide this on. Then I'm going to take a spacer bead, next I'll do another Beadmoji bead. Then when you're finished adding your Beadmoji beads on, I'm going to remove this hook and secure the 2 ends back together. How cute is that? Thanks so much for watching this video. I really hope you all enjoyed learning how to make this dotted line bracelet. I had so much fun accessorizing these with Beadmoji and LumiPals, and I hope you do too. If you haven't already found Rainbow Loom at all of their social media sites, they're linked in the description box below, and all of the supplies that I used today can be found at rainbowloom.com and or at our partner retailers. Again, thanks so much for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you in Rainbow Loom's next tutorial. Bye!